Hello, I'm Perrin, Beatty, President and CEO of the Canadian Chamber of Commerce, and welcome to the Business of Business. It's a video series where we look at some of the greatest challenges and opportunities for Canadian businesses. Well, nobody has to be told that small business is big in Canada. Small and medium-sized enterprises, which we often refer to as SMEs, are at the heart of their communities and are the engine of Canada's economic growth. They employ the majority of Canadians working in the private sector, and they account for about 98% of businesses in the country. Now, despite Canada's strong entrepreneurial spirit, SMEs face immense challenges, perhaps even more so than in the past few years. The impacts of the pandemic were felt hardest by SMEs, many of whom continue to struggle with recovery. But even beyond the pandemic, Canadian entrepreneurs and SMEs may often feel like they lack the support of a robust financial ecosystem that can help them turn their dreams into realities. This is especially true for entrepreneurs from underrepresented groups, including Indigenous, Black-led, and LGBTQ2+. Today, I'm joined by someone who's uniquely positioned to talk about financing and support for these entrepreneurs. In her role as Senior Vice President of Retail Banking with TD Bank Group, Tara-Lynn Hughes leads 2,800 employees and 202 TD branches, all in Ontario outside of Toronto. She's been with TD for over 28 years and is a strong supporter of TD's focus on diversity and inclusion. She currently chairs the LGBTQ2+ Executive Steering Committee for the Canadian Personal Bank and represents Canadian branch banking on TD's LGBTQ2+ Steering Committee. She's also served on TD's Women in Leadership and Indigenous Peoples Steering Committees. Tara-Lynn, welcome to the Business of Business. We're absolutely delighted to have you.
Thank you so much, Perrin. I appreciate that kind introduction and wonderful to be here.
Well, let's get started. As I mentioned at the beginning, small businesses and entrepreneurs routinely face challenges that are unique to them, that large businesses don't face. What challenges are you seeing among your small business clients and entrepreneurs?
Yes, well, and you mentioned it, Perrin, in your opening, really. I mean, the pandemic and recovering from the pandemic clearly remains a challenge for small business owners. And actually, in 2020, TD did a survey to better understand the impact that the pandemic was having on Canadians. And when we did that survey, 40% of respondents said that they experienced financial hardships, including income loss or job loss. And those were respondents from diverse communities. So from LGBTQ2+ communities, Indigenous communities, visible minority communities. So 40% of them acknowledge that hardships as compared to about a third of the general population. And as many as 17% of Black Canadians said that they were unable to cover the necessities that they needed in the first half of the pandemic. So, clearly, an incredibly trying time for all Canadians, but in particular for small business. And, I was just in an event last night speaking with some of our small business clients, and what they absolutely told me is that they are still in recovery mode. And I know, Perrin, you hear that as well. They're still trying to figure out how to adapt their business model to changing customer demands, customer traffic patterns, and customer needs. So, with any new or growing organization, it often is a struggle to build the platform that you need to amplify your business and to amplify the talents, that you have to share with Canadians. So I think, personally as a consumer and for all of us as organizations, we just have to actively support small business. And we have to do that through our purchasing power, through the reviews that we write, through the acknowledgement and support we would show for products and services through social media, or dare I say it, just good old-fashioned word of mouth. But it's just so important that we support small business in Canada. And One of the other challenges, Perrin, that we heard about is as you've built this business, of course, you want to protect it. And so I'm absolutely delighted to share as well that TD just recently launched small business insurance to help Canadian business owners protect their business. And, I would say that we really understand the nuances of the risk that business owners take on. So whether, you're a business owner who owns, a retail space and you have product and inventory there to protect, or whether you're a independent contractor, looking at liability issues when you're serving clients off-site, whatever the case may be, clearly our customers were telling us that they were looking for that support. And I think the pandemic actually accelerated the need for insurance. And so really we then look to leverage our number one direct to consumer operating model and expertise to really enter this market from a position of strength. And so, everything we do at TD is about being there to serve Canadians and Canadian families. So this was a logical extension to say, well, we want to make sure that small business owners have the opportunity to get the best advice, the protection they need, the support they need in the tough times. I mean, of course, we're there for our customers in the good times, but it's easier to be there in the good times. As you know, it's a lot tougher to be there, when you're facing challenges. And that's exactly where we wanted to be.
When you most need the help.
Yeah, that's right, when they most need the help. So we're delighted to be able to offer that support to small business owners.
And Tara-Lynn, what you were highlighting is that all SMEs, a large percentage of SMEs are facing significant hurdles at this point, but that's particularly true for underrepresented groups.
Yes.
What can be done to empower diversity and to ensure that there's access to funding for Black-led, for Indigenous, for LGBTQ2+, and for other businesses as well, which are facing that second hurdle?
Yeah, this is just obviously such an important issue, and organizations like TD and so many organizations have been working on diversity and inclusion for decades. And despite some great progress, I'd say we all know there is so much work still to be done, and that in particular business owners from underrepresented groups need to have a level playing field, which means that we all need to help create that level playing field. A couple things I'd share here. It was September 2021 when TD announced a $10 million donation to the Black Opportunity Fund. And its mission is to raise and mobilize the world's largest permanent pool of capital to serve and empower Black communities. And so incredible work being done there, and we are so proud to be part of that. And then last February, we also announced the launch of the Black Entrepreneur Credit Access Program. So this is essentially a lending program to help provide more equitable access to credit for Black entrepreneurs, because as you say, they simply face disproportionate hurdles when it comes to funding for their business. And we have a team at TD, a team of specialized account managers, including a Black customer experience team. And their job really is to support entrepreneurs from the community. And so I would say to all the entrepreneurs out there, in particular from the Black community, from the LGBTQ2+ community, from the Indigenous community, we have a whole team at TD who are here to work with you, to help you navigate the bank, and to also help make connections with a number of important organizations that TD supports via funding. So organizations like the Black Opportunity Fund or the Federation of African Canadian Economics, we can help be the connector to those organizations. And obviously the Canadian Chamber of Commerce is such an important organization, who also plays that connection role. And, that's why we so much value the partnership, Perrin, with you and your team. But I would also say TD is incredibly proud. I personally am incredibly proud that we were a founding member of the Canadian Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce, and continue to do a lot of work there, provide ongoing support for their supplier diversity program, and their mentorship program. And so I would say to all the organizations out there that, looking to procure services and products from diverse businesses is so incredibly important. We have a North American supplier diversity program, but I would say to anyone watching who is running a small business, I think that's a call to action for all of us to say, let's look at our vendors and suppliers and make sure that as best we can, we're supporting and giving our business and looking to procure services from those underrepresented groups.
Terrific. Just to finish off, let's talk about one other group that faces special challenges and great opportunities, and that's young people. Mm-hmm. What would be, based on all of your experience, what would be the one thing that you would want a young entrepreneur or SME owner to know that you think is often missed or overlooked?
Mm-hmm. Well, and you know what, Perrin, as you say that, the first thing I have to just say is thank you for having the courage. All you young entrepreneurs out there, people starting businesses, that takes courage. And so not only being smart and having an expert skill you want to bring to the market, but it takes courage. So I just want to acknowledge that and say thank you for everything you're doing to help drive the Canadian economy forward. The one message that I would leave with young entrepreneurs is it's never too early or never too late to seek out advice and ask questions. And I would just say you are not in this alone. And for us at TD, of course, we have a wonderful team of small business bankers all across the country. They have the knowledge, they have the expertise, they have the passion, to want to support entrepreneurs. And frankly, whether that's just starting out a business or thinking about starting a business, the whole continuum of the way along in terms of growing a business, or maybe you have a more mature business. But whatever the case is, we've got the team here who have the life experience and the expertise to be able to help. So I would say, ask questions, come talk to us. And I would also say, that we care passionately about making sure that underrepresented communities do have that level playing field, and that we're helping remove barriers so that you can be successful in business.
Great advice. Tara-Lynn, thank you. Thank you for sharing your insights in terms of the challenges that small businesses face. And thank you for the commitment that you and the company have made to backing small business and to giving opportunities for people who face those special obstacles. Delighted to have you with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Perrin. We know we're stronger together. So